Hey everyone, and welcome to Off the Beaten Clef. This week we are discussing "I Used to Go to This Bar" by Joyce Manor.
Yes, and it's a very short album. We're going to try to keep this episode shorter than the album if possible.
Yeah. Let's roll the intro and we'll
We don't
talk
have
more
much
about
time. We don't have much time.
it. We're on borrowed time. Yeah.
I wanna go, 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 I wanna go fast, I wanna go faster.
All right. So we're here. We're here. We're talking about Joyce Manor. Their brand new album. "I Used to Go to This Bar." Cody, we both have been into Joyce Manor for a little bit, but I want to hear how you got introduced to Joyce Manor because it feels like I've heard them talk in recent years that their popularity just like keeps rising, and it felt like they were, a band that everyone knew from like Tumblr, and then it's like transitioned into this like cool new stratosphere where they are just like every band's favorite band. So I'm very curious to hear where you jumped in on Joyce Manor.
Yeah, I jumped in kind of late, but that ST album is the first one that I heard. I mean, it's a like a Midwest emo classic basically. And it's one of those bands that I kind of fell into as the trend came upward. So let's call it 2017, 2018-ish. To me, they were like the pioneers of this little genre going around in the 2010s. I really love listening to a lot of their old albums. They have some great albums. Cody, for example, shouts out to me as well. Cool album art, really cool songs. Never hung over again, and ST like back to back to back were. I mean, that's an insane run. So really cool bands. This new album is sonically a lot different in my perspective, but in a good way. I really enjoy this album, and yeah, this is a kick-ass band.
Hell yeah, yeah. It's a band that like is so, and I think the reason their popularity is rising is because there's something here for everyone. It's like they have the accessibility that Blink 182 had, and I think that's what we're going to talk about. They're kind of like them getting onto radio for the first time, which is wild for a band that's been playing together for 15 years. But yeah, I got into them in 2014 with "Never Hungover Again," and it was there was this blog called "Property of Zach," and it was like my Bible. That's where I heard about modern baseball. It's where I heard about Basement, Super Heaven, all those like really cool bands that came out of like the early 2010s. And so you would see reviews, and anytime Zach Zarillo would post, you're like, okay, this dude, he was the guy that ran the page, but he had a lot of cool writers. But when Zach wrote about it, I tuned in. So this was like everyone's favorite album of 2014. And I think they just did a 10-year thing for it last year.
Mhm.
But I liked it. I never really tuned back in. And then around COVID times, they started releasing some singles for 40 Ounces to Fresno, and started listening to "Never Be the Same Again" and a lot of like snappy songs that are under 2 minutes. And I started doing some research and seeing, how they love writing short songs. Speaks to my soul. And I started working my way backwards. And over the last 5-6 years, I've just fallen in love with their entire discography. I have a playlist that I'm going to put in the show notes. It's just all their songs, all their eras, whether you like the punky stuff, the indie stuff, like Cody gets into like the really weird stuff. 40 $1 million to Kill Me is just like a very straightforward indie alt pop record. There's just so much that is enjoyable, and like if you want to listen to their records, it won't take 30 minutes of your time. This album today, like we said, we're trying to stay under the 20-minute mark. So we're gonna have to transition out of this soon. But they are just like the coolest band, man. And they're from Cali, so they're gonna be cool.
Yeah, yeah, they fit a lot of different realms. And they're on Epitaph, which is huge, kick-ass roster with more realms like bands all over the place. Brett Gurewitz is the producer on this album. So they really had fun with this and went a little bit of a different route and a little bit edgier, and I love that for them. One of the coolest quotes I think from Brett was he was talking about Barry Johnson, the lead singer and the main songwriter of the band. He said, if Barry was a novelist, he'd be Ernest Hemingway. To me, Joyce Manor is among the most important bands of the last 2 decades. So that's a lot coming from him, and it's a lot coming for the genre too.
Yeah, I think there is something to that. Like Barry doesn't get bogged down with lyrics. He is like one of those guys that like the more simpler the better, and like you can kind of extrapolate what you want out of what he's saying.
Hmm.
And I've seen things where I listened to an interview the other day where he said that he has been he'll take things kind of like what Good Hank said. They like he'll take things or a lyric or he'll take a verse and turn it into a chorus from a song from 2008, which I think he said he did with the title track on this album. So he does have an interesting mind. That's not something I don't think I could ever do. Like it would be really hard to find a voice for something old, and he calls it like his recycling bin, where he'll just like be like, it doesn't work here, so I'll dump it into the recycling bin. And when he's writing songs, he'll go and like visit his recycling bin. It's a really fascinating way to write songs.
Yeah, and I think Brett and them kind of came together with the production of this album, if I remember right and read right, that it was like they kind of joked with him like, "Oh, I wish you'd produce our record," or something around those lines, and he's like, "You never asked," and it kind of
Yeah,
fell in that way. And they had a brief put together of I used to go to this bar, and that was the opening song that they kind of appraised together and became the title track of the album. So,
yeah. I
um,
think I want to say in the interview I listened to, Barry said that Brett was kind of offended that they didn't ask him.
yeah,
And he's like, because they were like, yeah, we worked some demos out, and we just didn't like how they sounded. And he's like, why don't you guys never asked me? And they're like, legendary producer Brett Gurewitz, like, yeah, that was the first person we thought of. And he's like, well, I'll do your first song for free, and if you like it, I'll do the whole album. Which it's like Rick Rubin knocks on your door. He's like, hey, let me do the first. Let me prove myself to you. That's
yeah,
like
that's
Leonardo DiCaprio taking an audition. Like, what the hell? It's such a funny story.
and it's like they saw themselves as like C-listers or something on that record label. Like, yeah, he runs the label and does a lot of the production for many bands on there. But it's like he won't produce Joyce Manor because we're Joyce Manor kind of feeling. So yeah, dude, just shoot your shot and you'll get Brett
Yeah,
Gurewitz as your producer and make a kick-ass record.
yeah. Joyce Manor doesn't even know they're like the hottest girl at the school. They don't even know.
They're cool, man. They're cool.
So this is their seventh studio album, their fifth one on Epitaph. A lot of big bands on Epitaph right now. Motion City Soundtrack, like we've mentioned 100 times, is on Epitaph. There's some really, really cool. Drain is on Epitaph. It's probably one of the biggest indie record labels, would you say? It's easy to find their records at record stores, which is not easy for most indie.
Yeah, like their current roster is crazy, but their past roster is even crazier. So it's
Yeah.
it's super easy to find an Epitaph record somewhere.
Yeah. Blink even said like their dream label was to be on Epitaph.
Hmm.
They had no aspirations of being any higher than that. I'll let you take the next one.
Yeah, so this was released on January 30th of this year. The album was made with a rotating cast of drummers that included Joey Waronker, who's played in REM, and he recently sat behind the kit for Oasis Reunion World Tour this past year and what they've been doing. So, and countless other projects that he's been involved in over the years. So, really well known guy and a perfect guy for this album too.
Yeah, it's another like very interesting way to go about having a band. Is having a lead singer, guitar player, and a bassist. And for the last 10 years they've just been like, well, we'll find a drummer for this record. Like that's crazy, man. That's crazy to just like not. And they have touring drummers and stuff. Like it's just really, and they do things their own way.
I really like just how every album they've done is just slightly different, and I think that plays into it. And
Yeah,
I don't think someone would be like, "Oh, it's just a different drummer on this next one." But no, it's not really. It's just if you look into it, yeah, it happens to be a different drummer, but sonically, I think it kind of plays into that role too.
for sure. Yeah, a new drummer brings something different every time, and yeah. After the pandemic, Joyce Manor came back with increased visibility. They played some sold out shows at the Hollywood Palladium, and I think that has a lot to do with TikTok. We were all on TikTok a lot more during the pandemic, and we're like, "You guys know who rocks? Joyce Manor, modern baseball." Like you guys remember
Yeah.
like when we used to go to shows and stuff, and so their visibility was up. People were talking about Constant Headache and Heart Tattoo and all that stuff. And then they land a spot on Everybody's in LA, which was a John Mulaney Netflix show. And I watched it when it came out. I think he had two different seasons. The shows were called
Hmm.
two different things. But I watched the one. He had Mannequin Pussy on one and Joyce Manor on the other, and Heart Tattoo was played and Constant Headache, and it was a banger. And to find out John Mulaney's a fan of Joyce Manor made him even cooler.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram because I'm a big fan of his comedy work, but I never watched the series, but I remember when it came out with Joyce Manor and everyone in the comments like, dude, John Mulaney knows ball. He's a great fan of great music. So
Yeah, yeah. To have Mannequin Pussy and Joyce Manor in the same season was like
yeah.
my world just got so much bigger.
It's cool to have people other than like depressed 30-year-olds like
Yeah,
listening to these bands.
depressed celebrities listening to it now. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Their previous record, 40 Ounce to Fresno, which you referenced earlier, that was in 2022. And surrounded activity contributed to renewed interest in the band, allowing them to play larger venues than before. A development bassist, Matt Ebert, described as part of the band's slow burn trajectory. A lot of played into the pandemic with them. I feel like they were kind of, I mean, everybody else was in those shoes of what do we do? They kind of sat around. They remastered ST, I think, and like the year after COVID, 2021, and then did their 40 ounce to Fresno. So not a whole lot was going on. They kind of planned for a tour. They started performing in amphitheaters in 2023 and pavilions for the first time. And they were an opening act on the summer tour with Weezer that year. So
Yeah, and there are some really cool correlations you can make with Weezer. Like they're the way they write like very feel good songs that are subtly sad. He also Barry was on the Weezer 30-year anniversary for the Blue album. He was on like an interview panel. Have you watched that on YouTube?
no.
Um, they play the songs from Blue live, and then after each they play the whole album, and after each song there's like five or six people that are sitting there, and Barry's one of them from Joyce Manor, and they like ask him questions like, "Hey, I always loved this. What made you guys decide to do this?" And it was really cool, and it was like Joyce Manor's here, like in the realm of Weezer. So it's cool to hear that. That's probably where it ties in. And I also heard Matt Ebert in the same place he said about the slow burn trajectory. They said that each album has gotten just like bigger and bigger, and that is probably why they said that's probably why they've continued to be a band for the last 15 years,
Yeah.
is because they didn't go from like being in basement shows to being in amphitheaters and then to like have to scale back down, and like slowly but surely they have just like gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's the dream trajectory, honestly.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they can dial it in a little bit more instead of some bands just getting, they need bigger songs for bigger theaters and bigger arenas and in that sort of sense. They're still playing every neighborhood. So it's cool for this band especially, especially as big as they are.
Yeah.
We're big fans of album covers. This one was supplied by Chris Clean. a friend of the band, and it depicts his grandmother decades earlier at a party. The band sought permission to use the photograph, citing its timeless, candid quality and its rich, detailed background. I love these pictures for
I do
albums.
too.
I love the no title, no artist name in the picture too. I love that
Yeah, it's
trend
just
going
like
on.
the lady with like the like it kind of looks like, yeah, I mean it looks like a girl that could be kind of modern. Like she
Yeah,
kind of has like the shag mullet
yeah,
and a cigarette in her hand, and somebody's drinking whiskey in the background, and she's kind of got like the gap teeth, which I love.
yeah. Tongue
Um
out.
yeah, it's a really cool photo and great for an album art. It
Yeah.
gets people to check in that normally wouldn't. Um Yeah, they just wrapped the first leg of their I Used to Go to This Bar tour. They were with Military Gun, Teen Mortgage, and Combat. They're going to be playing some more shows with them, but it's starting back up in April, May, and June. And then sometime in May and June, they're going to be hooking up with Hot Mulligan, Saturdays at Your Place, and Koyo. And they're ending in Cincy June 21st at Andrew J. Brady.
One of the most insane lineups I've seen in a while from this genre of music. It's well put together.
I mean, yeah. I I can't think that all those are like all, I would say all of them except Hot Mulligan and Team Mortgage have been in my top 100 of the last year.
Yeah, Teen Mortgage for me. I don't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
Love Combat, love Saturdays at Your Place, love Koyo. I mean, the leg that they're on now is just wicked. That crowd has got to be so many different fans. Like there can be diehards for each band
Yeah,
at that show.
yeah. I think you talk about Military Gun; they're one of the biggest hard rock bands right now. I mean, it's crazy. Um, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Um, let's talk about the album, Cody. Let's get into it.
Yeah, talking about the sound of it, kind of going off differently from their previous stuff. I think it really augments their usual punk style with more like jangly guitar textures. Barry Johnson called it LA rockabilly or reminiscent of cowpunk, which I
Yeah,
really like that word. It's a good word
cowpunk. I
for it.
mean, that speaks to you and your soul.
I like folkiness getting added to the pop punk genre. It's really cool. There's a lot of acoustics and a lot of harmonics, and I think there's a little harmonica in there, but there's still some synth. There's still some very like cool licks with a lot of palm muting, and yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of cool guitars in this album.
Yeah,
And
it's there's like kick down the door punk songs, and then there is like a like almost like an old Western country song.
yeah, yeah, and lyrically, it's pretty depressed in nature. He's reflecting on a lot on life in suburban Los Angeles, personal law, struggles with substance abuse, a lot of nostalgia in this album, some suicide. We're talking everything in this album, front to back. So, the album's lead single, "All My Friends Are Depressed," actually became the band's first radio hit, peaking at number 19 on the Billboard alternative airplay chart. So
Wild.
that's funny too. Which I don't know. It kind of makes them less cool that they're radio worthy now. So
Yeah, sold out, man. They're still on Epitaph, so that's okay. Like
yeah,
charting in the year 2026 without a major label push is that's word of mouth. I mean, that's the only way you could do it.
yeah. And so when a band reaches top 18, that's when I start disliking them. Like they only peaked at
They
19,
were so
so they're
close.
yeah, they're still all right. Other than that, yeah, sonically, I think it's a little bit different than some of their stuff with this rockabilly cowpunk stuff they got going. So
Yeah, but at the same time, it is still Joyce Manor. Like
yeah,
they can introduce these sounds, and they're still the 2 minute songs. They're still like, and I was telling my wife this. Like, I love Joyce Manor because there's no fluff. There's no bridge that's unnecessary. Barry spends a
yeah,
lot of time crafting these songs and putting them together. It's usually verse, chorus, end song, and like sometimes there's an outro, and sometimes that makes a song 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But generally speaking, there's not a lot of fluff. And when you put all of Joyce Manor's songs on a playlist and you hit shuffle, that just makes all the albums kind of, there's no era. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this feels different, but it fits Joyce Manor's discography.
Yeah, and what I like about them is like each part has their own thing. It's not like a band that's, that puts out a minute and a half songs that's super wordy. It opens with a line and ends with a line because they're trying to say something, I guess. The guitars, the drums, the bass, and the lyrics all come together and they have their own piece. And it's literally like they all have their own piece of the pie, and nothing's overpowering anything. Like it's really cool, and they come together very well.
Yeah, I want to say they said they tracked 18 songs and ended up with 9.
Yeah.
And that's a 9-song album is unheard of. 9-song, 19-minute is unheard of.
Yeah, you think you see 9 songs and it's like it's got to be 45 minutes worth of music, right? No. We're under 20.
I want to say In Shining Armor's 5-song EP was longer than this.
Yeah, it's close, I think. I think it was very close.
Now I gotta look.
I know we're taking time away, but
I'm not gonna shut off our episode. It sounded funny in theory, but we haven't even got to our favorite songs yet.
19 minutes 23 seconds.
Okay, so yeah, it's about the same.
It's damn near the same. It's longer.
Yeah.
It's longer by 15 seconds.
Half the songs, but that's not taking away from In Shining Armor by any means. I love their long songs. The Joyce Manor just does things their own way. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with like how you felt about the totality of the record?
I've said all I got to say. Yeah, we can get into all 9 songs or just a couple, whatever you want to do.
I picked a couple of my favorite tracks. If you want to go back and forth and you can pick some of your favorite tracks.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll let you pick first. You can see mine because
we can start with the intro track. I Know Where Mark Chen Lives. Perfect intro song to an album. I remember when this album released, I was super excited for it to come out, and this is the first track you play, and it's like, oh yeah, we're getting ready.
Dun, 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 dun. This is a great punk track because it's like, hey, do you remember Joyce Manor? Yeah. Well, track 1 there's gonna be some weird shit on this album. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna get a little cowpunky, but track 1 is a very punky song, and it has a great chorus. Train coming down the track, and it almost gave me a heart attack. Freight train coming down the track, and it almost gave me a heart attack. Just changing that phrase just the slightest bit makes it so much more fun to like. It gives it a little bit punch the second time it comes back around.
Yeah, it makes you put your fist in the air. It's just different enough to sound like a whole different line.
Yeah.
And it's super catchy. We were both singing it when we jumped on the meeting together.
I didn't even realize I was singing it. But as soon as I joined the Zoom call, I'm like, freight train coming. And Cody's like, down the track. I was like, yeah, sick.
It makes you want to fight the power, man. I love that song. I really do.
I saw where Mark Chen was one of the guys in their local scene coming up. So
I didn't find much info on him, but that's kind of what I found too.
It's so funny because like it's an inside joke that probably only 100 people know, and it makes us feel very left out.
The only other one I've found, he's a research scientist with OpenAI, so it could be that.
Yeah, maybe he quit his music career and works for AI now.
Yeah, or he just knows where he lives, so he's threatening him. I don't know. What's your next song?
My next one is Well, Whatever It Was. It was one of the singles, one of the music videos, and Cody and I have a love-hate relationship with singles coming out because we don't want it to ruin the listening experience of the record because you find yourself skipping the songs you already know, right? And This one, it didn't matter how many times I heard this song. The music video is really cool. It's like a what is it? It's like a cookout. It's like a bake off in someone's
Yeah,
backyard.
yeah,
Really funny music video. It reminds me a lot of, not like lyrically or anything, but like the feel of like Weezer's Beverly Hills, where it's like got the bounce to it. I love the silly little lyrics. Lost my job at Little Caesars, drinking whiskey because my teeth hurt. It's so funny that I find myself singing it all the time. Lost my job at Little Caesars, drinking whiskey because my teeth. It's just like such a good little like bounce to it. But yeah, this is probably one of the most quintessential songs with the album. It's one that people are going to remember from this album for sure.
yeah. It's definitely the most fun on the album. I chose the same words for a photo dump I did on Instagram. I think it was in early February. Uh, Opening with that Little Caesars line. It's lines like those and lyricism from Barry like that keeps it catchy and keeps it like he's just very clever in his writing, and it's campy, but it's very fun, and you don't hear things like this a lot, and
It's
it's just
very
like
it's a Cody Garrett lyric for sure.
it kind of is. I feel that.
You do a lot of like funny tongue in cheek kind of shit like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
in your songwriting.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think that's why it resonates so well with me, and it's just like, well, whatever it was, like the nobody gives a shit. You lost your job, for example, and who gives a shit? It was at Little Caesars.
Yeah, and the call and response chorus. There's another chorus that we're going to talk about here in a minute, but the call and response makes it so easy. Like if you're in the car with someone, you can like go back and forth singing the
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very fun song. I'm surprised this one hasn't made it to Billboard or something. This is like a perfect like song for a commercial or something to be commercialized. For instance, like I don't know.
If Warner Music Group had their grubby little hands on it, it would be on a T-Mobile commercial tomorrow.
That's why Epitaph is the shit.
Yeah, yeah. Do you got a next track?
Um, Let me go backwards. We'll go to track two, falling into it. I love how just chill that song is. It's very quick. Yeah, it's a minute 50. The the synth really brings up. It's like palm muting for a little bit, and then the chorus is just kind of repetitive, falling into it, falling in, and then there's nothing that really changes until the synth comes in, and it's kind of the most different structurally of the whole album with that. You don't really hear that much, and it doesn't stand out as much in the other songs. And then just yelling, falling into it towards the end of the song is fun. So,
Yeah.
track two, normally a heavy hitter. I don't think this is a heavy hitter, but it's a really fun song to play right after I Know Where Mark Chen Lives.
Yeah. Yeah, when the momentum's that high, you kind of have to kind of cut it down a little bit. But the momentum comes back in because like you said, like it's like a mid-tempo track falling in, and then when he comes back, it's the opposite of like bring the chorus back but slower. It's like bring the chorus back but yell it this time. I love it.
Yeah, it keeps the album rolling too. I really like that one, especially after that is All My Friends Are So Depressed, the big track for them, and it really brings the tone down. So coming after that with well whatever it was, it's structurally throughout the album so far. We've talked about four songs so far, and it's well put together.
For sure. Yeah. It seems very deliberate. And my last two tracks are at the very end, so if you want to get into any other ones.
Yeah, we'll talk about I Used to Go to This Bar. We'll just follow up with track five. Again, we talked about this was the first track that them and Brett put together and kind of completed together. Barry said it was inspired by, and he quotes, the very visceral feeling of walking by a bar during the day and just smelling like stale beer and just like wanting to get really fucking drunk at 1 p.m. It's kind of like your whole day could go differently. You're like, damn, that smells like fun. The smell of bar carpet just does something in my brain, but then you look in the bar and it's beyond depressing in there. So it explains it very well. I love the chuggy guitars and like rapid like frantic singing that he does.
Yeah, even reading along, it's hard to get that cadence of the verses.
It is. It's very hard.
But
Um,
the chorus is so good and so simple.
yeah,
I just wish you were here.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of emotion in this, and it brings you back to like missing an old friend. There's this is where the nostalgia comes out that we talked about earlier.
Hmm.
Probably the most nostalgic of the one, and I can see how this kind of branched and birthed a new album together with Brett. So yeah, I think this is a very important track to the album, not just being the title, but
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, I think you said it best, but I love the titular track.
yeah. Where are we at?
I don't have the track list up. I just have my four songs.
I missed it.
Shit.
I was like, shit. Which note are we looking at? Yeah, that was number 5,
Yep.
and then followed by "After All You Put Me Through." Um, this is like the breakup song,
Yeah.
basically. Not really a whole lot to talk about with this one, I don't think,
Not
but
probably one of my least
yeah, I
favorite.
agree. I agree. Sadly, um, still a cool song. But yeah, it's like the breakup side that brings it down, and it's uh, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain why this is one of my least favorite of the album. I think it just doesn't really follow the theme. I guess it doesn't feel as nostalgic. It doesn't feel as folky as the rest of them do.
Yeah. And plus when you get to After All You Put Me Through, if you listen to it a couple times, you know the
Yeah.
last three tracks, Opossum, and then
Opossum?
well Opossum? That's how it's spelled.
The opossum. Yeah, that's true. There's a saying that if you're trying to catch a possum, you don't go to somebody that calls it an opossum. You go to somebody that calls it a possum.
Or Critter.
Critter.
Yeah, what you got for Opossum?
Um, Man, I think this is like the folkiest one on the album for sure. The drums and the guitar pickings the fastest. The vocals have like that pause between their punches. It's kind of breathing and kind of staying on the back end a little bit, and I think the vocals have like a distanced kind of effect to him where it's kind of like he's yelling them. It makes it more anthemic and to try to like sing along. The words are cool in this one. The I'm smoking teenage hash in the grass with a possum to start the second verse. We talked before. We were like, I don't. Does he? Do they say the title in each song? And I think we brought up the possum, and I was like, well, it took me a while to actually hear him say that line and say
Yeah.
possum in it. So, um, yeah, so far 7 for 7 on titles, which ends up being 9 for 9. But
I want to say they don't say I know where Mark Chen lives.
that's true. That is very true.
That's the only one. So
Imagine they said at
eight
the
out of
end,
9. I know where Mark Chen lives.
"I know where Mark Chen lives."
That'd have been a good way to end it.
I know it's like a hidden message to Mark Chen.
Maybe it's on the CD. You know how like if
Yeah,
you start a CD, you rewind it like 3 seconds.
yeah.
Maybe.
You think Mark Chen shit his pants when he saw that as the opening title?
He's like, now people are going to be obsessed with finding out where I live.
All he needs is my IP address, and they're finding it now.
My favorite song on the album is "Well, It Don't Seem Like You've Been Here Before." Track 8, getting the gang vocals on the chorus, and the song gaining momentum with each pass at the chorus. It's such a good song. It's going to be one of those deep cuts that I think people are going to latch onto at some point, because even the instrumental ending, it has like a guitar solo and then a harmonica solo. It's so good, man. Like a harmonica on a punk record, you just don't hear it.
Yeah, it plays into that cow punk we talked about. It's my favorite sung song in the album. Like it's almost like he's trying to squeeze that last syllable in, and or like he's run out of breath, and it adds so much more meaning to the line. Like your third wife, your first kid, and your favorite fucking coat. And like he said, he puts um, so much more consonants on the end of each line, and it's so cool. And then right
It's
into
like
gang
slam
vocals.
poetry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right into like a crowd vocal.
Yeah, I love it. And then track 9, great guitar. Um, dude, what a great way to end the album. I remember the first time I listened to it and great guitar came on. There's a feeling that this song is the last song on the record. It's like a weirdly somber song. Um, and it's having this feeling that Danielle is dead. I don't know who Danielle is.
Yeah,
And then like being able to envision like envisioning it, or I can't really make sense of the lyrics. I don't know if you did.
no.
But I love the idea of like finding comfort in your old gray guitar.
Yeah, I like how this one ends, the album. I love the guitars in this song. I didn't really understand it. It almost seems like too personal to me. It reminded me of when we talked about the Neck Deep album, their newest self-titled album. That was it was the Outside one. Like what is that song called? I'm looking it
Go
up
out
as we
go
type.
outside.
Yeah, Go Outside. Like it's almost like too personal of a track and kind of throws it off for me. Um, but I think the mood and like the dark weariness that it brings is a great ending to the album.
Yeah.
And I like how it kind of leaves you like, what the fuck is going on, but also kind of rooting for this Danielle woman
Yeah.
who might be
Like
dead or might be alive or no
yeah.
one really fucking knows. Like,
Someone do a welfare check on Danielle.
just play your fucking gray guitar, Danielle.
I don't need an explanation. Just play your gray guitar. I like there's so much said in that in that chorus that you can take away from it. Like I always saw it as like, well, you always feel better when you play your great guitar. Like
Yeah.
it's finding the thing that like makes you feel better. Like when you're in a rut, what do you do to get out of that rut?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can depict out of it is like Danielle is like him or like an artist of some sort that's like I don't know, falling off the deep end or just in this like gray matter where it's like forget about the outside shit, just play your gray guitar. In the song was like with we both know they can't fix you. They haven't got the parts. One day they'll come to get you and expose what's in your heart. Some say they did depict you as though you were a star. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like the artist perspective and seeing it from the outside and letting media pick you apart and things that come out about you when it's just like, just play your gray guitar.
Yeah,
And
the most important thing is the gray guitar you're playing.
yeah, like shut up and dribble per se.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, I love this record. I loved getting to dive into it a little bit deeper too, because it is such a flash. You listen to it a couple times and you're like, I love this album. I'm going to be listening to it a lot. And then when you dive into to lyrics, which I don't do a whole lot unless we're doing the podcast, it's always nice to think about these songs a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, and I think we talked about doing like a Joyce Manor episode before, and it was kind of good to get this one out instead of like an ultimate Joyce Manor episode, which would be cool. I mean, they have so much in their discography that's really cool, but I love this record. It's like a 9 out of 10 for me for sure.
Yeah, it's contender for top of the year.
For sure, it might be my most played because it's so easy to put on. It's easy to have in the background. It's easy to hum and sing along with. It's good for every mood. There's fun songs, there's sad songs. It's overall, it's a killer record, and yeah, it's 19 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. If you hate a song, it'll be over soon. You know, it's more effort to change the song than it is to just let it play through.
Think about how many drives are 20 minutes away, you
Yeah.
know?
It's like a round trip drive to Chipotle or a commute to work. I mean, it's so fun. And I listened to it twice. The first time the day it came out, you sent it to me and Chaz, and I listened to it while I was getting ready for work, and then I listened to it on my drive to work, and it was like I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I don't
Yeah.
know what my favorite song is yet, but I love it.
Yeah, I bounce between a few. I love I Know Where Mark Chen Lives. It's a banger. It's hard not to say that one because that one's been stuck in my head the most.
Yeah. Yeah, and doing albums so early after they come out, I always listen back to these. I'm like, my favorite song has changed. I need to go in
Yeah.
and make an addendum. So next week, Cody, we are discussing System of a Down. Speaking of ultimate playlists,
Yes, Big Sode episode. I'm excited. I don't know where this stemmed from, but
I
I I think I just
I
sent a
want to
text
say,
maybe.
yeah, I think we'd been talking about System of a Down for a while.
Yeah. It comes up in
And
conversation so much.
yeah, and I feel like I know so little about them. I know the big albums, I know the big songs, but we were lucky enough that our friends Louie, Ben, and Kevin made us an ultimate playlist. So it's going to be a really fun episode. They're going to contribute some audio clips to let us know why they picked certain songs. It's going to have a couple songs from each album. So we're really thankful that they did that for us, and we're excited to dig into it.
Super excited. I'm a big Surge fan and Serge. I don't know.
Serge Tankian. What a
Dude,
great name.
what a great name, what a great voice, dude. It's
Yeah.
so
Did,
influential.
we'll talk about it more next week. Did you ever get
Yeah.
into like his solo stuff?
A little bit. Like when he kind of started his solo career.
Yeah,
There was some
same.
cool stuff that came out, but I didn't stick around with him.
Yeah, yeah, same. Yeah. Do your research on System of a Down because that's what we're doing next week. Join the Discord or follow us on Instagram. Let us know what you think of Joyce Manor, what your favorite song is. Comment your favorite song.
Yes, please. And join the Discord again.
Yeah. I updated the link, so if you go to our Instagram, I know the link was broken for a few days, so I appreciate Aiden from Enchanting Armor letting us know last week. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you.